Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Theo from I Ain't Everybody's Uncle, and just taking the day off today. Today is Wednesday, because I uh, spent Monday and Tuesday trying to. I built a section for my dumpster out in front of my house so that it can't roll out in the street or uh, that it just can't it won't move. So basically what I did was I took three um, three railroad ties, three 8-foot railroad ties, and the dumpster is probably about um, 6 feet wide, or no, 6 feet, 6 feet wide and 3 feet deep. And I took three railroad ties that were 8 foot, cut uh, one of them in half, and took rebar and pounded the rebar down into the ground. Now, I don't know if any of you guys know anything about uh, hammer drills. Man, I'm gonna tell you something. You get you a hammer drill, and if you do anything like fence posting or anything like that, uh, these things are amazing to have, because you can basically, and they actually sell on Amazon. They actually sell what they call a rebar driver. So if you do a lot of putting rebar in the ground or staking and stuff like that, they have what they call a rebar driver, where you put it in your hammer drill, put it inside your hammer drill, and you put it on top of the rebar, and then you run the hammer drill, and it basically drives your rebar into the ground, which took like, I would probably say, to do the whole setup, but just to put the rebar in, it took me probably about 20 minutes, because I put like three pieces of rebar, so it was six, so nine 4 foot rebar into the ground with minimal effort. So you're not sitting there banging it with a sledgehammer or something like that. You get this rebar driver and a impact hammer or an impact drill, and you basically the drill is very good for, like, if you're chipping concrete or you're digging like a small trench or you need to dig a hole. You can actually put this. It's got these chisels where you can use it to um, dig a hole, 3 foot, maybe a 2 foot hole. If you're trying to, like, get to something like a irrigation pipe or something like that, because I dug a trench in to get electrical conduit from my tack shed to my chickens, so I can have an electrical outlet near my chicken coop. So when I have chicks, I can put a heat lamp and a heat warmer in there with the chickens. And it took me probably, I would probably say, a 16-inch trench with electrical conduit, schedule 40, to put in the ground. And it took me probably, and I think it was probably maybe about 10 to 15 feet with the uh, the hammer drill. It took me probably about, I would probably say, about maybe 3 or 4 hours. But you got to get down on your hands and knees. But that was the only thing about me there, because my back was killing me afterwards. But You know, but it was a lot easier than doing it with a freaking trenching shovel. Let me tell you right now, because if you got some hard dirt, like we got out here, using that trenching shovel, man, it is a pain in the butt. So I spent Monday and Tuesday, or Monday building the thing for my dumpster, and then I spent Tuesday um, trying to get these weeds under control because we've been having a lot of rain here in California. But I can tell you right now, we ain't suffering like the other states are, man. That snow and blizzard crap, man, that is for the birds. I'm not. No, I'm not. Hey, if it snows in California, I'm gonna have to find another area to move to because I can't do the snow. I'm like, nah, that's too much. It's too much. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we get the fire and earthquakes, and I haven't felt an earthquake in, ooh, maybe it's been about 10 years. You know, but we also live on a the whole neighborhood lives on like a kind of like a I think it's called black granite. So uh, it pretty much absorbs any kind of shaking or anything like that. So you don't really have to worry about feeling earthquakes because of that granite. And this stuff is super freaking hard. I mean, it is super freaking hard. I've got a, a piece of granite in my backyard that has been a bane of my existence, and I've tried everything to try to get this thing broke down to where I could at least level off the property, but it's a pain in the butt. And to hire somebody to come out and do it is astronomical. It's a crazy amount of money. But just to talk about the things that are pretty much going on and what we're witnessing on TV and in Minnesota and all of that. Um, I mean, I feel sad for the people that have lost their lives. Um, but the thing that I can say is that um, it took two white people getting shot, getting murdered on video for some people to say enough is enough. We've been dealing with this for freaking forever, and we told y'all. We told y'all. Y'all didn't want to vote for the intelligent black woman. You know, because of your racist ideology. But now y'all got to deal with this. Because I can tell you right now, I don't have no problem with ICE. Right? They don't bother me. I don't bother them. Uh, I ain't really got no friends that I got to be concerned about. You know what I'm saying? Because most of my friends that I actually know ain't none of them armed. So, I mean, but it don't matter if you armed or not. If they want to take your life, it seems like they got the right to do that, and that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not gonna front. I'm always armed. You ain't you ain't gonna catch me going nowhere without being strapped. And you can call that domestic terrorism. You can call it uh, uh, whatever. I'm not. I don't go anywhere without being strapped. I always got my PP on me. And like I said, it's sad that a human life was taken or a couple of human lives were taken, but you know we can go back to so many of our people being murdered, and when we got out there in the streets, you know what I'm saying? Y'all watched it on TV, okay? George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, uh, Phil, what's his name, Castro, just the amount of black people that have been murdered by police officers, and nothing happens. And I always tell the religious people that you can get out here and you can pray and march and do all of that, and they ain't gonna change anything. Just like these people in Minnesota, what they're doing is not gonna change anything. Okay, most of the people, it was 75% of the people in the United States, or 75% voted for this man. And now y'all want to say, "Oh my God, I made a mistake." Well, no, you didn't make a mistake because you was voting for the racism. Period. Wasn't there was no there's no other reason to vote for him. He was 34 count convicted felon. Okay, he was a sexual assaulter. He was a pedophile. He's in the Epstein files, and y'all know he is. But I digress, because even if the Epstein files come out unredacted, what are you gonna do if his name's in there? Nothing. Ain't nothing gonna happen. Y'all gonna just be like, "Oh well, I don't think that's real," or just like what you did with the murders. You making excuses, and you gonna continue to make excuses. But the thing is that I feel bad because I fought for this country, and to watch it go the way it's going, from one man, from one person, from one human being, to destroy everything that our ancestors, and I'm not talking about just our black ancestors, I'm talking about white ancestors that fought in wars, that went to foreign countries, that were fighting for people to have equal rights, for people to be treated humanely, and we fought for that. And here it is, you jackasses are following one man to destroy all of that. I bet you most of y'all don't even know who the first person or who the first man was that died in the Revolutionary War. In the Revolutionary War, look it up, see who it is. In the Revolutionary War, the first man to die in the Revolutionary War, and we were fighting, or I'm not gonna say we, because black people didn't have nothing to do with that, but white people were fighting the Revolutionary War for their independence from England, okay, or from Europe. Boston Tea Party. Civil disobedience. We're not going to pay the king's tax. That's what this country was built on. And not just that. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm just accounting one era, and that was a revolutionary era. Now, what they did after that was atrocious. Okay? To my ancestors, and what we had to deal with. And we've been dealing with it for 400 years. Man, we've been running, our people been running from slave catchers, police, trying to, and all we want to do is live our life. You know what I'm saying? All we want to do is live our life. And y'all so mad that our existence pisses you off. And that sucks. And I'm not just talking about black people, I'm talking about brown people, I'm talking about, Native Americans, I'm talking about Hispanics, I'm talking about black people, I'm talking about all those people of color. Y'all can't stand our existence. And the reason why you can't stand our existence is because even after 400 years of holding us back, treating us like cattle slavery, or treating us like chattel slavery, okay? Even after 400 years, and we're still moving forward. We're still fighting against the tide, and yet we keep swimming. And that y'all mad about that. And I'm telling you, the people that are mad the most is mediocre white people. It's mediocre white people, because you ain't done nothing with your privilege. and you in a trailer park somewhere, and you looking at, well, this black person got more than I do. Well, dude, guess what? You started on third base. Okay, you started on third base, and just because you didn't make it to home base, that's because of you. And you think that, oh, if these black people get health care and we all get health care, they gonna get it. So what? But you would deny your own existence to diminish ours. And that's to me, that's just stupid. It's just like, it's kind of like being in a relationship with somebody, and you know you know for a fact that that person's got your back 110%, and then you dump on that person, and y'all built a life together, and then you give it all up for somebody that wouldn't do the same for you. So why, just because just because black people or Mexicans or Native Americans get something, we don't want more than you do. We just want equality. We just want the same thing that we want the freedom and justice and respect, and we want our children to be safe. We don't want to have to be gunned down by the police, or we want to be able to live our lives. Nobody is asking for anything extra. Y'all just don't want us to have what you got. And most of y'all ain't got shit. Man, I'm gonna be honest with you. Most of y'all ain't got shit. So, you know, and you mad about that. But that ain't our fault, because you didn't take advantage of your third base privilege. We didn't stop you from getting a degree. We didn't stop you from creating something better for your life. You did that. That's not on us. The only thing we trying to do is we just trying to live our lives. And then you see all this shit on the internet where you got white people just coming up to black people talking crazy, doing well, why, man? But see, now I'm gonna be honest. I ain't had the privilege to run into white folks that are doing this or acting crazy or whatever. Because I don't know. I'm 6'2", so 220. So I don't know if I wouldn't say I'm an opposing figure, but I would say that maybe they already know, maybe they can smell it. Cause I'm gonna tell you right now, my greeting is violence. I ain't gonna lie to you. You go crazy with me, I almost slap the fire out your ass. I don't, man, but you know what? But I do, and I know I have to take that back. No, I probably wouldn't. Because words are just words. You know what I'm saying? I can't, I'm not going to say I'd get pissed off about somebody calling me out my name. But you put your hands on me, that's a different story. But I've never, and I tell people all the time, I said, I've never had a negative encounter with a police officer. I've never had a speeding ticket or a movie violation. I've never been pulled over by the police. I was pulled over one time. I was on my motorcycle and I was headed to the DMV, and cop pulled me over because he seen that I guess my registration was, something was wrong with my registration on my license plate. And he pulled me over and he's like asking me a couple questions. I was like, man, I'm on my way to the DMV right now. And he was like, oh, okay, and he's like, he let me go. He was like, all right, cool. And that's it. And that was like 100 years ago. I don't get pulled over. I don't have negative interactions with the police. I never have. Another thing is that when I was in the military, I hear people talk about what do they call it? hazing. I never experienced that. Nobody ever hazed me. Okay, I don't know. Maybe just because people don't fucking like me. I don't know what it is. Cause I ain't never even been approached, and when I was in school or anyway, I ain't never even been approached. Somebody asked me, "Hey man, you want smoke? You want cocaine?" Never. Somebody, you want crystal meth? No. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, and maybe I don't have a real friendly face. But I've never had anybody proposition me. I've never even had a prostitute come up to me and say, "Hey, you want a good time?" And maybe it's just my personality. I don't know. I ain't never been offered, and I think it's kind of fucked up because I feel bad because I ain't never been offered nothing. I mean, nothing. I ain't never been. Nobody ever came to me and said, "Hey man, you want to rob this bank?" I'm like, I mean, I would say no, but I ain't never been offered nothing. I don't know. Maybe it's just me and the way I look. I don't know. I just ain't never been offered nothing. So ain't nobody ever just came up to me and said, "Hey, you want to smoke some crack?" Never. Like I said, I've never had a police officer come up to me and say, "I need to see your ID." But that's a whole different story for another day. I ain't never had that. I ain't never had a negative reaction with people. I don't know if people just see me as like maybe non-threatening or boring or nah, this dude is nah, he gonna tell on you, cause I ain't gonna lie to you. You do something and I know about it, I ain't going to jail for you. I ain't gonna be no accessory to nothing. All I'm saying is that it just I I don't know. Maybe my life has just been like boring as fuck. Cause I ain't never really had no Karen or no Ken come up to me and call me the N word or somebody whatever. I just never have it. Never had it happen. So, but I'm chilling today. Probably gonna go play a little Xbox and kind of hang out for a minute because my body is hurting. But I don't know, man. It's just you have to ask yourself, do you what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Because if Congress and the Senate, if they're not gonna stop this guy, y'all talk about the midterms. You better hope them midterms happen. Cause you think he building that $240 million ballroom for somebody else to enjoy in 3 years? You really think that? And if you think that he ain't trying to be a dictator, you dumber than I thought. Cause I'm not gonna build a whole bunch of stuff to my house and then turn around and give it up. Now, I might sell it, but I ain't gonna build it for somebody else to enjoy. Why would anybody do that? Why would you do that? You ain't that, no. Well, that's it for today. I'm gonna go and it's a little chilly. I don't know if it's just me, but I ain't doing no work. I ain't even going to collect eggs today. I'm freaking tired, man. But Friday I'm gonna probably go check this restaurant out. I've been looking at. I heard it's pretty good, so I'm gonna probably go, maybe with a couple of friends, go and check this restaurant out and see if it's any good. All right, well, this is Theo from I Ain't Everybody's Uncle. Y'all can check me out on Instagram. You can check me out on Facebook, and you can also check me out on YouTube. All right, everybody, like I said, keep your sanity, be safe, do what you got to do, because It don't look like it's gonna get no better. All right, you guys take it easy. Love you.